Sometimes a father's love drives him to choices that look like madness to everyone else. Yet in his heart, he knows it's the only way forward. That's exactly what happened to Liam Park, a high school teacher from Oregon whose entire life was shattered one rainy night when a drunk driver ran a red light and killed his wife, May. In the months that followed, Liam wasn't just mourning her loss. He was watching his 10-year-old son Kai fade away right in front of his eyes. Once a whirlwind of laughter, curiosity, and endless questions about dinosaurs and rockets, Kai had become a ghost in his own home, answering in clipped tones, withdrawing into video games, and retreating behind walls his father couldn't break through. The grief counselor told Liam to be patient, to let time do the work. But patience felt like surrender. Every day Kai disappeared a little more, and Liam felt like he was losing his son along with his wife. Then one sleepless night, Liam stumbled upon something online that would change everything. A listing for a bamboo cabin suspended between two cliffs in Nepal. Accessible only by a swaying rope bridge, with no electricity, no plumbing, and certainly no modern comforts. It looked more like something from a fantasy novel than real life. Everyone would call him crazy for even considering it, and they did, but Liam wasn't looking for comfort anymore. He was looking for a way to save his son before it was too late. What he didn't realize was that this desperate gamble would lead him and Kai into a mystery older than any of them could imagine, one involving ancient monks, hidden scrolls, and a treasure worth $75 million. Though in the end, the true treasure wasn't measured in money at all. Liam's family thought he had lost his mind. His brother Tom and sister-in-law Sarah staged an intervention the moment they found out, warning that they would file for custody of Kai if Liam dared drag him to some dangerous shack in the middle of nowhere. Even their neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who had always been gentle and supportive, warned him of the risks. But there was something in her words that stuck. She reminded Liam that May, his late wife, always believed in things you couldn't see in old wisdom, hidden truths, and the idea that sometimes the only way to find yourself is to get lost first. Liam couldn't shake it. So he sold their Oregon home, liquidated their savings, even used May's life insurance policy to finance the purchase of the cabin. By any rational measure, it was financial suicide. But Liam wasn't thinking like a rational man anymore. He was thinking like a father whose son was slipping away. When he told Kai they were moving to Nepal, the boy simply stared at him, then asked, "Are you sure about this, Dad?" Liam answered with all the conviction he could muster. "I'm sure we need to try something different. Your mom always said the best adventures start with a leap of faith." For just a second, Liam saw the old spark in his son's eyes, the spark of curiosity that had been buried under grief. That tiny flicker was all he needed. With 2 suitcases, a jade pendant gifted by Mrs. Chen for protection, and a one-way ticket across the world, Liam and Kai boarded a plane that would take them to the Himalayas. Neither of them knew what awaited, but both understood that whatever lay ahead, it couldn't be worse than watching their family die in silence. 36 hours and 3 connecting flights later, they arrived in Nepal. Guided by a young man named Tenzin, they trekked up steep mountain paths until finally there it was. The bamboo cabin suspended impossibly between 2 cliffs, glowing golden in the afternoon sun like something built by gods. Kai's breath caught. "It looks like it's floating," he whispered, and for the first time in months his voice carried wonder. Crossing the rope bridge was terrifying, every plank creaking underfoot, but when they stepped inside, something shifted. The cabin didn't feel abandoned, it felt alive. Its bamboo walls seemed to hum softly, as though they held voices from another time. That first night, Liam couldn't sleep. He lay awake listening to whispers carried by the wind, voices that rose and fell like conversations in a language he couldn't understand. When he asked Kai the next morning if he had heard anything, the boy said quietly, "They sounded like people talking. Mom used to say the wind carries messages from those who have passed on." It was the first time Kai had mentioned May voluntarily since the accident, and it wouldn't be the last. Over the coming days, father and son adjusted to their new reality. Life was stripped down to basics: pumping water, cooking on a wood stove, gathering firewood, and living by the rhythms of the mountains. At first, Liam found it exhausting, but Kai thrived. Each task became a challenge he attacked with curiosity. "It's like camping, but better," he said, grinning after starting a fire. Liam felt hope stir again. Maybe, just maybe, this place could heal them. But what neither of them knew was that the cabin had been waiting for them, and it had secrets it was ready to reveal. The breakthrough came when Kai noticed a faint humming from one of the cabin walls. Pressing his ear against the bamboo, he discovered a carved spiral symbol no bigger than a coin. When he placed his palm on it, the wall slid open to reveal a hidden compartment. Inside was a bronze singing bowl wrapped in silk, engraved with intricate patterns. When Liam ran a finger around its rim, the bowl released a resonant tone that made the whole cabin vibrate. That night the humming led them to a second secret, a hidden panel in the floor containing a scroll, wrapped in oiled leather and covered in strange writing that combined Sanskrit, Tibetan, and something unrecognizable. Liam stared in disbelief. This was no rustic retreat. It was an ancient vault of knowledge. Soon after, a visitor arrived. Dr. Elena Vasquez, an archaeologist from Colorado who had heard rumors of sacred sites hidden in the mountains. When she saw the bowl and the scroll, her professional composure cracked. These weren't relics, they were priceless artifacts. And together they formed part of a legendary treasure known as the Star Map Codex, a collection of scrolls and artifacts hidden centuries ago by monks to preserve wisdom from destruction. Elena explained that if their fragments were genuine, they could be worth over $75 million. But she warned them, others were searching for the same treasure and not all of them had noble intentions. Liam felt torn. He had come to Nepal to save his son, not to chase legends. But Kai was already captivated. For the first time in 2 years, he was alive with excitement, his grief lifting with every discovery. The cabin hadn't just given them shelter, it had given them purpose. Elena's warning proved right. Within days, strangers appeared in the valley below. Helicopters circled overhead. Men with military equipment began asking questions in nearby villages, offering money for information about hidden caves. Brother Lobang, a monk from a nearby monastery, arrived with a grim message. These were not treasure hunters in the usual sense. They were part of a powerful consortium, men who believed ancient knowledge could be exploited, sold, and weaponized, and they were closing in. Brother Lobang revealed what Liam had suspected but never dared to imagine. Kai's mother, May, came from a bloodline tied to the Sky Sage himself, the man who had built the cabin. Kai wasn't just stumbling onto these secrets. He was meant to find them. Holding a jade medallion given to him by the monk, Kai seemed to unlock abilities no child should have, sensing hidden passages, activating artifacts, even seeing through illusions designed to mislead seekers. The more they uncovered, the clearer it became. Kai was the key to completing something called the Dragon's Path, a journey through sacred sites leading to the ultimate treasure, the Blood Ruby. a gem said to hold the wisdom of consciousness itself. But every step closer meant more danger. Liam now faced an impossible choice: retreat to safety and abandon the quest, or push forward into mountains where even monks feared to tread, knowing ruthless men with guns and helicopters were right behind them. He looked at his son, no longer the broken, silent boy he had been, but a child standing taller with every discovery, and realized the choice was already made. Guided by Brother Lobeng, Elena, and Tenzin, they set out toward the first site marked on the star map, a meditation cave hidden behind cliffs disguised for centuries. The journey was brutal: narrow ledges, freezing winds, forests so dense the sun barely touched the ground. But Kai pressed forward, guided by the jade medallion that seemed to glow whenever they were on the right path. At last they reached the cave, its entrance concealed by vines and shadows. Inside, they found murals glowing with strange phosphorescence, scrolls preserved by crystals, and manuscripts that revealed knowledge far beyond their time, maps of the stars, diagrams of the human brain, and techniques for unlocking hidden capacities of the mind. Elena was awestruck, whispering that these texts could rewrite history. But before they could study further, voices echoed outside. Reed's men had tracked them. Armed with explosives, they were blasting their way through the mountains without regard for the sacredness of the sites. The group had only one option: to press deeper into the cave, following passages that led into the mountain's heart. But this wasn't just about survival anymore. The scrolls spoke of a final test awaiting at the Blood Ruby, a trial only someone with Kai's lineage could face. For Liam, the thought was terrifying. For Kai, it was destiny. The deeper they went, the stranger it became. They entered the Valley of Mirrors, a labyrinth of crystal walls that reflected not just their faces but their fears. Liam saw versions of the Night May died, each one torturing him with what-ifs. Elena saw colleagues mocking her, ridiculing her research. Brother Lobeng warned them not to trust the visions. They were illusions designed to test their minds. Only Kai, guided by the medallion and a mysterious crystal compass that appeared as if the mountain itself had given it to him, could see the true path. Eventually, they stumbled into a vast chamber where 7 ancient monks sat in eternal meditation, the Guardians. At first, they looked like statues, but when Kai stepped forward, their eyes opened. They spoke directly to him. He was the child of the bloodline, the heir to the Sky Sage's legacy, and the only one who could recover the Blood Ruby. They warned that the ruby was both a gift and a curse, knowledge powerful enough to heal the world or destroy it. Liam wanted to shield his son, but Kai spoke with a steadiness beyond his years. "I stopped being just a child the night Mom died. If this is my responsibility, then I have to see it through." The Guardians approved, granting him their blessing. But before they could say more, the sound of explosions shook the mountain. Reed's men were closer than ever, and there was no turning back. The journey toward the Blood Ruby had only just begun. With the Guardian's blessing, the medallion blazing like a beacon, and Reed's men closing in, Liam, Kai, Elena, and Brother Lobeng pressed deeper into the mountain, into a trial that would test not just their courage, but their very souls. What awaited was more than treasure. It was knowledge that could alter the course of humanity itself, locked behind challenges meant to break even the strongest hearts. And at the center of it all was a boy who had once been shattered by grief, but was now stepping into a destiny greater than anyone could imagine. As the echoes of helicopters and gunfire grew nearer, Liam realized something profound. He had come to Nepal to save his son, but perhaps it was his son who would save them all. And that, my friends, is where we leave Liam and Kai for now, standing on the edge of a path that could change everything. If you've been hooked by this story and you want to know what happens next, if Kai can find the blood ruby, if they can outrun the men hunting them, and if the true treasure is really knowledge, not gold, make sure you're subscribed. Because tomorrow, I'll share the continuation of this unbelievable journey, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next.